Welcome to JC Connect. In the yesterday's class, we were discussing about the different types of tendering process and the different types of contracts, and in that all contracts, how the the contract consultant and the section officers has to behave, and what is the interlink is there in between all these persons, that also we have discussed. So we will start with the knowledge of that today, how to make the contract bills and how to maintain the accounts in the uh, different government organizations like Jilla Panchayat, PWD, or any other government organizations. So now, uh, the payment to the contractors for the works or to the supplier or the materials, road metals, and the plants, etc., are made on the basis of the measurements recorded in the measurement books. Normally, you have to maintain one record that normally we can call it as a measurement book. That measurement book is very important. It is nowhere connected with the estimated cost. What will happen is that most of the time the estimated cost, it will be assume that the quantity of the earthwork excavation is assume that it is 100 meter cube is there in the estimated cost. But when you took the exact measurements, then normally what will happen is that uh, maybe if it is a 90 meter cube, then the payment has to be made on the basis of the measurement book only. You have to make the payment for 90 meter cube of the quantity of earthwork excavation. Suppose if you are calculating the quantity of the reinforced concrete or retaining wall, what is the quantity of the RCC is there, maybe in the estimated cost it will be very less, or if it is more in the measurement book, even if you added extra, then you are not supposed to give the whatever the exact there in the measurement book. Now you have to shift to the um, what is the total estimated cost is there, for that much only you have to pay. So these are things are going to happening in most of the field applications. So if you are placing extra materials, the government will not give anything for that. They will give according to the estimated cost. Suppose if you are placing lesser quantity than the estimated cost, then they will take the exact measurements and they will give the amount for that. So when the work or supply is completed or sufficiently progressed, the detailed measurements are taken usually by the section officer and recorded in the measurement book, and as well as in the abstract of the quantities that I have already explained. What is that abstract of the quantities are prepared, and the cost is calculated at the rate of the contract agreement. Now it's very important, then who is going to measure all these measurements in the measurement book? Normally the section officers. So the hierarchy will be in this way. The first one, the contractor, uh, the tender is going to allot to him that after tendering process, after allotting the contract or what type of contract you are giving it, based on that the contract will be allotted to the contractor. Then once the contractor start executing, it has to be monitored by the section officer. He has to visit section officer in the sense the assistant engineer, junior engineer, or AEEs, EEs. Normally AE and JE are the section officers. AEE and the EE are they are um, they will look after whole things, and they will normally just ask what is the progress going on in this type of work. But actually, uh, the section officer has to visit to the site and they have to inspect it. So then they have to take the exact measurements on the site itself. On the site, how much quantity is there, how much quality is there, that they have to record it. Then they have to compare it with the contract agreement as well as the estimated cost copy. So if any variation is there, then they have to say that this much work is only pending. Then you have to continue this work. So once everything is completed, then it has to verified by this some other persons. They are no way connected with these two parties. These two parties in the sense, the first one is the contractor, the second one is the section officer. So the third person has to inspect it and he has to verify it whether the quantities as well as the qualities are maintained in the field what the section officer has visited. Then that normally that we can call it as a third party inspection. In that third party inspection, they are not connected with the government organizations, then they will come, they'll inspect it, and confidentially they will send the report to the higher authorities. These people will not send anything to these two peoples. Then that confidential report will send to the higher authorities like uh, DC, district collector, or whoever the in charge, or the SC, superintendent engineer, or EE or AEE. So then once it is said that okay, then they may recommend whether the bill can be sanctioned or not, whether we can keep the pending for all these bills. They have to specify it. So and all the things has to be done in abstract of the quantities. I have already given one table, abstract of quantities, not in detail is required. They have to give it in uh, the the table called the abstract quantity, that I have already given in your maybe 10 class before. I have given the table. According to that format you have to give it and send it confidentially to the concerned authorities. So from the abstract of the quantity and the rate, the bill is prepared for the payment. Based on the um, abstract of the quantities, the bill is prepared and it is submitted to the concerned authorities. Bill. So then what is bill? Bill is the account of work done or the supply of material made, and includes the particulars, the quantity of work done, or the material supplied, and the amount due. Reference to the agreement number, order number are also given in this bill. Bill is nothing but it is the amount account for the work done. For example, you take one example. So the previous example only you can take it. The section officer will go to the site and he will measure it. It is a 100-meter cube of earthwork excavation is there. So then per meter cube, how much rate they will fix it, that you have to it will be there in the SR book. So based on that, or the agreement what you have made, or the estimated cost, or the agreement whatever it is there, normally it is agreement is made during the tendering process. According to that agreement, okay, per meter cube 1000 rupees, then multiply with 100 into 1000, so you'll get total amount to be paid to the contractor. So but it has to be calculated based on the measurement book only. So now we got 100 into 1000, so that much rupees we will get it. So then that much has to be prepared in the standard format, that is bill format. It is there, and there what you have to specify is that this much material is there, this much um, amount is there, this much material he has used, this is the total amount to be paid to the contractors, that has to be mentioned. And in that, whenever you are doing the bill, the reference of the agreement number, the contract number, or the tender number, you have to specify it, because uh, it has to follow the standard protocol only. Because without that agreement number, if they want to make it cross verify, so they will bring all those agreement number documents and they will cross verify it. Once they have done the cross verification, so then automatically the higher authorities will definitely sanction the bills. So next come to the voucher. Voucher is a written document with details which is kept in record as a proof of the payment. For any payment, a bill is prepared and the payment is made on the bill, duly checked and acknowledged by the payee. By the signature or the revenue stamp is required, and after payment is made, the bill becomes vouchers, which is kept in records. Normally, voucher is like a proof for the payment made to the contractors. How will say that the amount is nowadays this making the vouchers and everything has gone. Normally, directly the amount will be credited to the contractors' accounts. Once all three steps are over, means contractor, if he has completed quality work and quantity, once it is verified by the section officer, uh, again once it is verified by the third party inspectors, so then normally once the higher authorities uh, say that the bill can be sanctioned, then directly the amount will go to the contractor's account through the NEFT or RTGS. So then automatically it will be credited. No vouchers are required. Suppose if you are making it through the cash or the check, normally the vouchers are required. Voucher is a proof for the payment made to the contractor. Of course, it is a written document. For further, why this is required means to show the proof with showing that we have made the payment to the beneficiary, or we have made the payment to the contractor, or we have made the payment to the workers who have done the work. Of course, it has to be whatever the voucher is there, it is duly signed by the authorities, followed by um, uh, some of the clerks or whatever it will be there in the offices. And it has to be preserved minimum for 3 years from the date of payment. Because normally you're not supposed to discard immediately. Most of the time what it will happen is that you have to preserve it for minimum 3 years. Maximum time you can preserve it based on your capacity of the preservation, as well as the whatever the techniques you have used it for the preservation. Nowadays all type of um, written document types of vouchers are now over. Even what will happen is that once the NEFT and everything is completed, automatically the online vouchers are going to generate only. Even they are digitally signing for all the vouchers to avoid uh, lot many rush documents at the time of the March end, or any any month, if the ending is there that time, if you want to avoid it to the last moment, so normally the digital type of vouchers are getting ready and they are referring nowadays. Then the type of bills. um, the various standard forms of bills and the vouchers are used for the payment according to the nature of works. White forms are used for running bills and yellow forms are used for the final bills. The following are the different types of bills. So now you see that two types of major bills are there. One is running bill and the second one is the final bills. Running bill means it is like can say during the execution of the work. Suppose if the total duration of the project work is assume that road work, if you are constructing, if it is for the 1 year, then at least the partial amount you have to release it. Even you can release based on the partial completion of the work also, but nobody will release now. In the during nowadays what is happening is that this is what the biggest problem. uh, Advance payment will not be given to any of the contractors. What they have to do is that for example, if you have started constructing uh, one a road, then assuming that once you laid the subgrade line, or once if you completed the subgrade soil layer, then normally um, that has to be inspected for regular intervals for about 1 or 2 months. If you have completed that in 1 month, so let it the authorities can come there by the section officers followed by the third party inspectors. They will come and they will verify it. Once then they will submit the confidential report to the higher authorities. So then based on the work completed or 10%, 20% or 30%, then the authorities are going to release the um, that much partial amount of work. Even the section officers, they can recommend that this much only the cost of the work is completed. You can release the 75% of that whatever the work completed, that much they will release it. They will not release full. Then that has to be prepared in the bills, and for that you have to prepare the vouchers also. Suppose if you are in a year, if you are doing this kind of activities or this kind of partial bills for about 3 to 4 times, then normally we can call those bills as the running bills. Then final bills means it is the final bills is once complete settlement of once all the work is completed, then the authorities has to say that the work is completed and it is up to this mark and it is according to the estimated cost. Then um, then the payment will be made. That kind of payments, for that we have to prepare the bills, that we can call it as final bills. So based on the stages in the during the execution of work, they are classified into different types of bills. So that is the first and the final bill. Running account bill form A, running account bill form C, lump sum contract bill, and receipts. So So these are some of the different types of bills. Normally we will use it. Maybe if you see in the account section, you will come to know what kind of these bills are. So we'll discuss one by one all these type of bills in detail. The first and final bill. So this form is used for making payment to the contractors both for work and the suppliers when a single payment is made on the completion of the whole work or supply as a final payment. This type of bill is generally adopted for petty works or split up works in the projects. See, first and final bill means it is the single payment. It is not like the running bill. It's the first and final payment made to the contractors once the execution of the work is completed. Once the execution of the work is completed, then the uh, contractor will be awarded with the help of the vouchers. Then running account bill, that is a form A. This form is used for advance payment without any measurements. Most of the time, I already said that running account bill form A is normally used for the advance payment, but nowadays the advance payment nobody is doing it. But in some situations, like if you are uh, doing it for about more than 20 crores or 30 crores of the project, if you are taking it, if the company profile is very good, then normally the advance payment will be made, because some of the security deposit always they will keep it for this kind of works. For 100 crores of work or 200 crores of work, if it is going on, normally the advance payment will be made. Of course, this advance payment is based on the the profile of the company, the stability of the company for the future days, whether they are going to complete it, and the past record of that company, how much time they took to complete the work. So that all the things they will see when they are doing the advance payment. So normally this form A is used, and it is standard. Even in our Jilla Panchayat and all those things, we are using the same thing. It may be used um, for running bill payment for advance for unmeasured work only, or the combination of unmeasured work and the measured work, or if on account payment is to be made but an advance payment already made for the same work is outstanding. Sometimes this can be made with advance measured work in combination of the unmeasured work also. So normally it is used before the starting of the payment, but initial planning and observing the drawings, based on that they will take the decisions. And in the during the planning stage, if any drawings are there, based on that they will take the measurement, then they will award it. So this is nothing but the running account bill. Maybe in the next class we will start with the different types of bills again. Thank you.